GTA 6's NPCs might be too realistic, and I'm not talking about them just being realistic in terms of looks. I'm talking about the type of realistic that makes you question whether Rockstar is actually building a social experiment instead of a video game itself. Now, if the leaks, patterns, and tiny little details hidden inside the trailers are anything to go by, GTA 6 might feature the most advanced NPC systems ever put into an open world game. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why the civilians in Vice City might be smarter, more reactive, and honestly more unhinged than anything ever seen before in GTA. We will go over the most important patterns, cover the basics of the leaks, and talk about how all of this is shaping up to be an absolute game changer, not just for Rockstar, but for video games in general. So without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? Now, before we dive into everything, I need to clarify that most of these things mentioned here are fully legit patents filed by Take2 and Rockstar, and might not necessarily be related directly to GTA itself. But we wouldn't be true GTA fans if we didn't live life high on copium. Now, back in September 2022, a user calling themselves teapotuberhacker dropped one of the biggest leaks in video game history. 90 videos, roughly 50 minutes long, showing the early development footage of GTA 6 got released to the public. Here, we could see unfinished gameplay mechanics, early tests of some of the systems mentioned in the patent files, as well as a bunch of other things that are not really relevant for today's video. Now, in full transparency, patents directly don't guarantee that the tech itself will show up in the final game. They basically show what the developer can actually implement because they have the right to that idea. But when we match the patents to what we saw in the 2022 leaks, as well as all the leaks that happened afterwards, we can follow the pattern into a bigger picture that is trying to paint. First up, we have the NPC virtual navigation patent, which was filed sometimes during 2020. This patent covers a system that allows characters and vehicles alike to navigate an environment in a much smarter way than it was the case with older GTA games. This means that pedestrians might not just be walking a set path from A to B, and instead they would reroute around obstacles, choose different paths, and actively avoid the chaos that you as a player might be causing. This would generally make the world feel more alive and less scripted than it was in previous titles, which in turn would give us a more dynamic world that exists without you even being there. In a way, this was already present in GTA 4, where the pedestrians as well as other NPCs had a little bit more depth and character than the ones that were present in GTA 5, for instance. This was then expanded even more in RDR2, where the NPCs felt truly alive. Well, except Uncle, as his lumbago diagnosis basically made him into a plant that liked alcohol a little bit too much.
I got a serious medical condition.
Next up, we have the patent for virtual character locomotion, which is linked to Rockstar's AI programming and ties back into the patent mentioned above. If we take a closer look here, we can see that this is a patent that basically implies that the player characters as well as NPCs will be moving in a way that combines different animations based on the situations that the set character is in. So for instance, if we as Jason or Lucia are stuck behind cover with bullets flying our way, our protagonists will react differently if they are hit or not. This patent suggests that each character will have modular building blocks that will be interchangeable based on the situation that the character is in. So if you hit an NPC with your car at full speed, they might not pass instantly, but will instead be paralyzed or breathe heavily. This same method can be applied to gunshots, punches, kicks, or any other type of injury that they could sustain. With this patent, Rockstar seems to promise us that we will receive a fluid set of animations that will be interchangeable to the point where none of them will actually ever repeat, and even if they do, it will not be directly noticeable. Now, next up we have two patents that directly tie into the previous two. The natural body, pose, and motion prediction patterns describe tech that seemingly lets characters dynamically adjust their posture as well as movement based on context of the situation. These patterns seemingly facilitate real-time character mesh deformation, allowing characters to move, bend, and react naturally the same way a real human would. This allows for a large amount of animations to play out and adapt to a character's physical state. This means that if an NPC has low energy levels, for example, certain injuries, or is impacted by the weather, the animations playing out would adjust to match his current state. This enables characters to showcase fatigue, reduced mobility, as well as injuries on an even more improved level than RDR2 did. Also, can you actually believe that RDR2 came out in 2018? Holy shit. Now, next up, we don't really have a dedicated pattern per se, but it's more of an amalgamation of all the different patterns filed by Take2 and Rockstar themselves. This one is about the individual variability and simulation behavior of the NPCs within Leonida. I don't really have a simple two-line summary for this one, as it's spread across several different filings and community finds, but the core idea is that the NPCs would have different behavior profiles, which would make each NPC a distinct individual. This, in a way, was already done in Watch Dogs, for example, over 10 years ago, but this time around, it's not a shitty company like Ubisoft behind the wheel.
You're goddamn right.
Now, in the patterns, we could see that the NPC decisions would be based not just on proximity to the player, but to the overall happenings in the open world. Characters would adjust their reactions based on the world state, and NPCs would respond to chaos with more complexity than ever before. This would give us a more dynamic response from both NPCs as well as the emergency services themselves, as seen in some of the original 2022 leaked clips. Now, if we take all of this into consideration, we can see that Rockstar will be taking a giant leap forward in how NPCs perceive and respond to the world around them. This on its own doesn't sound that impressive, but combined with everything else that we are supposedly getting, this could have an insane impact on the replayability of the game itself, as we would have different interactions every time we started the game again. Now, let's be 100% honest here and talk about the potential this has for not just the story mode, but for GTA Online as well. If you ask me, GTA Online in its current state feels like an empty map that has no NPCs. Now, yes, I know that that isn't true, as we keep running them over by accident. But with these patterns, Rockstar has a chance to make GTA Online one of the most immersive online experiences out there. Now, imagine they give you a chance to play in a private lobby with your friends, and Vice City is absolutely packed to the brim with NPCs. You guys decide to rob a bank, a store, or whatever, and just get caught in traffic having to escape on foot. This would literally make for a perfect opportunity to fight the cops and maybe even the army while the civilians flee around you. Now, imagine one of you gets shot, with the injury slowing them down just a tiny bit, and you have to cover them while they bandage up. The possibilities are actually mind-blowing to me. And if you ask me if I would rather get a more realistic approach in online this time around, my answer is definitely yes. I want the game to be grounded, and I think that many other folks would absolutely love that, especially as the time of fancy stuff, shiny things, and flying bikes in video games seems to be kind of over. And again, as said in one of my previous videos, I hope the oppressor never returns again.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Anyways, what do you guys think? Will the NPCs in this game truly live up to the hype that is building around them? Will they be as realistic as we hope, or is all of this just wishful thinking on our end? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and a huge shout out to the 2,090 people that ended up subscribing. You folks are the best. Now, if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button and of course subscribe so that good luck follows you on your future adventures. Stay silly, keep edging, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.